Hello, I'm Ron Burgess, and this is another MicroGiants meeting. Today, we're going to do two shorter meetings. The first one is workshop 6. We went through this just a little bit. This is a summary, so we'll go through it fairly rapidly. This is also part of our MicroGiants tools for those of you who happen to be on the tool set. Okay, let's get started. What we're going to talk about briefly is just, as I mentioned, the marketing planning cycle and sort of wrapping up, going around the circle here. And as you know and remember, we started with customers, competition, competencies, and targeting, spent a lot of time until we finally got to doing positioning and emplacement here. And then we talked about building content, how you actually build content based on your positioning. And then, of course, communication and all of the media that goes along with that. And so we'll do a very, very quick review of that right now. You may recall that planning is what we're trying to do here. And this is this is really where the marketing cycle starts that we just looked at. First, we complete the client profile. Then we have a customer profile analysis. And of course, the client profile includes things like size, industry, sub-industries. In other words, it's market driven. Then the customer profile analysis breaks into a couple of pieces. One is competitors and then content analysis. From our competitors, we do marketing studies, online analysis, and several other things that you'll recall. And then it goes down to the positioning and emplacement. Our content analysis tells us where we are right now in order to be able to complete positioning and placement. That's a cycle that can go around 2 or 3 times in order to get it right. Then we talk about the strategic marketing plan, and we build the campaign, and this is where execution happens, and analyticals, which we're going to talk about next. So to make things a little bit more complex, we put this into a production process so that you could really see all of the pieces that were required in order to be able to get this job done. We started with a strategic plan and creative concept, of course. We then had copy draft revisions, designs, etc. Got our final copy. But once we get past the copy, which could in this case include doing video and audio, advertising, etc., then we break this into each of the different medias. So we would apply the copy to the email copy, then do the layout as a design piece. You see this comes from design. Go through the setup, the email, etc., from a technical perspective and launch. SEO website copy, you'll recall, is about the same. Doing the landing pages, which the email will drive to. Of course, you hand that to the webmaster to do that, and then you launch. Then below, we have the same thing for direct mail copy, newsletter copy, social media. Each of these you launch, and then we've gone through that process. Then also, we talked very briefly about building an event and what is required for an event and how you will do each of these pieces in here to be able to put that event together. And of course, each event has its own series of marketing efforts that really were covered just in the previous slide. We don't want to forget about PR distribution and follow-up, because this is really a part of events, and it's also part of overall marketing and planning. So the press release is set up. You can do that by, you can monitor that by setting up Google Alerts. That tells you if you have gotten the kind of exposure that you like. You send it to the regular press, of course, and then to the client's or your customer newsroom website, which is always a good page to have. Sometimes in the Inland Empire, it can be released in certain places like Inland Empire US, which is what this is. You should maintain a press release, of course, in order to send those out. And don't forget about radio um, public service announcements, PSAs. So they should also be in your press release. So the whole management of the process includes realistic timelines, specific steps through each process, duration of each step, the time spent on each step, assignment of skill sets to each step and or person. And so that's very briefly how we get through there. So don't do seat of the pants planning, and guerrilla marketing is not exactly planning. In fact, it's not usually included in planning. It's usually something that people do kind of spur of the moment. It includes a variety of sort of crazy ideas. And there's not anything wrong with that as long as it's part of the overall plan and it coordinates with the rest of the pieces. And at the same time, you need to remember that you've got to create the message based on targeting. You have to select the media based on the mix of personas and the target marketing. Who are those people? What media should we select? You have to build campaigns that have achievable goals and a purpose. And you got to manage using a process-driven approach. And so that really kind of ties that up into into a single piece. We thought it would be a good idea to go through that because of the next piece we're going to talk about, which is putting together the analysis of the